I'm posing the question to you. What's the most overrated band of over time? Now, I put 4 of them up on a poll on YouTube. What 4 bands do you think I picked? And I'll even give you a hint. They're all big name acts.
Is it live or the band in general?
It doesn't matter. Just what's the most overrated band?
Overrated.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Think
I
big.
would have picked Milli Vanilli. Yeah, I'm thinking Red Hot Chili Peppers is going to be one of them because it's so polarizing. You hear a lot of people talking.
Not big enough.
Not big enough.
Not big enough. I went big.
I can't think of many bands bigger than that. Fucking overrated.
The Beatles.
Overrated?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, you went there. You went legacy. Got it.
Nirvana. Metallica.
I was going to put Metallica.
Those are the 4 that I went with. Now, as of now, I just put this poll up earlier today. It's got about 700 votes on it. And, I mean, it's only been up for a few hours. And there's already people making comments. Which band do you think is in the lead right now?
Beatles.
Beatles by far.
Yeah. People are so fucking full on about the Beatles, man. I remember talking to a friend of mine, and I was talking about John Lennon and greatest songwriters and stuff, and she was like, "Were the Beatles really that good?" And I was like, "Yeah, they really were." And I said to them, "How much have you listened to the Beatles?" Well, I guess I haven't really actively listened because, I know some of their songs and they're nice, but why does everyone make such a big deal? And I said, because they were the first. And they progressed in the space of 8 years. They did so much. And it's a big deal if you actually, that's why I can't talk to people about the Beatles concept if you don't know what you're talking about. If you haven't listened to all the records and you know the through line, fuck you,
and
man.
if you can't do the accent, if you can't talk like you're from the Beatles, we're from Liverpool.
That's not bad.
Today?
That's pretty good.
Hey,
good.
So here's the percentage.
Better than your fucking Australian.
What the fuck are you talking about, mate?
No, that's shit. It's dog shit, mate.
Oh, yeah, that sounded almost a little Northern Ireland.
It sounds like it's an island mixed with Rocco's Modern Life with Southern in there.
Yeah,
there's a bit of Southern in there.
Yeah. It's Rocco's Modern Life. Hey, heifer. Yeah. Okay, so here's the percentages. So the Beatles are at 53%. Led Zeppelin is at 9%. Nirvana is at 23%, and Metallica is at 15%. So your leader in the clubhouse, less than a day into this poll, is the Beatles at 53%, followed up by Nirvana, then Metallica, then Led Zeppelin. I, honest to God, thought Led Zeppelin would run away with this thing because there's been I don't want to say so much, but there's been some stuff in the news about them over the past few years about copyright issues, and did they really just rip off all of their R&B riffs and everything else like that. So a lot of people are putting in their own feedback here in regards to the poll. And one person here, Mark Whalen, said, Metallica has solid albums. Nirvana has 5 good overplayed songs. Somebody else.
Metallica, that's a reach. Metallica has good albums. Metallica has some good albums. True.
They said Metallica has solid albums.
Some of them aren't solid, dude.
Santi Bernal Cueto says Queen. They just wrote in Queen, thinking Queen's overrated. I might have to ban that person from my channel.
That's not fair, yeah.
Diego Gonzalez says, I feel like they're all perfectly rated, but if I had to choose one, it would definitely be Metallica. The Beatles are the greatest band of all time.
I like the way people come into the comment section, by the way, and they're like, well, if I had to choose, I'm like, we're not on the other side of the computer with a gun to your head. You don't have to choose. I love the way people do that. They're like, well, since I happen to have read this and I'm on the couch for 2 minutes and my thumbs technically work, I guess I have to. I love the way people precurse it.
So check this out. So a couple people said none of the above, but Doug Stubbs wrote none of these, possibly Blink-182, which is perfect for one of the upcoming History of Rock episodes that we have coming out. Then Emily Fravel says, where the fuck is Grateful Dead? They define overrated / hyped. Fight me.
Yeah.
I never understood the Grateful Dead thing, and I honestly don't think I can even tell you one of their songs.
No, I've listened to a couple, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
So Steve Cassius wrote, none of them, System of a Down and Linkin Park were the write-in votes. To which
ban this motherfucker, ban that guy. That's
Lex Ruger said, showing your age, your favorite rapper is Eminem, right? And then somebody else here wrote AC/DC or Kiss. Now, to wrap this whole thing up, this reminds me of a conversation that we had. It was one of my all-time favorite best of the morning show clips that we would play. It was a lengthier clip. I mean, it was probably 15 to 16 minutes of one talk break.
Right.
And so it was difficult to play sometimes. Like, you really have to plan. Like, if you're doing a best of show, you really have to plan for something of that length. And man, it was when we had our digital guy, Scott, come into the studio to argue the point that the Beatles were terrible and that the Rolling Stones were better. Because the conversation started with, are you a Rolling Stones or a Beatles guy?
Yeah.
Because I think the conversation actually was from Pulp Fiction. It's, are you Elvis or Beatles? That was the main thing. But then it kind of rolled into, well, are you Rolling Stones or Beatles? And that's when Scott came in and he was like, F this. It's Rolling Stones, guys. And the Beatles suck. Buzz is a die-hard Beatles fan. Loves the Beatles. And he would get so upset when you would make fun of the Beatles. I mean, he would get bent out of shape. I would do it just to poke the bear. I love the Beatles. I think they're amazing. I love listening to the Beatles. But man, I would do it just to get him riled up because we would mock them for being a boy band. We were like, they were the first boy band. I mean, if you think about it, it was just the first boy band. And then we get callers that would pile in on this.
And Buzz would be like, they wrote their own songs. They wrote their own songs.
They weren't manufactured. They weren't put together by some manager in Orlando. Like, and he would you could just feel the rage coming out of him. Oh, it was hilarious because deep down, I'm like, I love the Beatles, but I know how worked up he is going to get over this crap. Yeah. So, but right now, it's sitting at 53% for the Beatles. So if anybody's watching this, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and then you can head on over and you can vote in these polls, and you can let us know who you think the most overrated band is.